Right, so this is some data that someone collected on breakfast cereals. This used to be the data that I used for all the assessments because it's a little bit tricky. I'm not going to use it for the assessments this year, so that could be good, that could be bad. I just saw this out of the corner of my eye and I thought Cheerios was Cheetos, and I was thinking, who has Cheetos for breakfast? Cheetos with milk on, oh my god, I'm going to be sick. That's bad. Anyway, we've got a lot of different cereals. These I think are from America because there's lots of cereals here that we wouldn't talk about in a million years. Have you ever had Captain Crunch or Apple Cinnamon Cheerios or Apple Jacks? And what on earth are grape nuts? Oh, that sounds nice. Great grains pecans. Honey Graham O's. Anyway, lots of cereals here that I don't particularly recognise, but some that I do. Cheerios I recognise. Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa Pops. Have they got? Oh, they've got got corn pops and corn flakes. They haven't got Kellogg's Cocoa Pops. They're suffering. I feel their pain. They've got lots of things. Oh, Special K's there. That's good. Right. So looking at this set of data, we've got the name of the cereal. That's that's a nominal variable, which doesn't really matter. We've got the manufacturer, which is N, Q, K, R, G, whatever. We've got the type of cereal, C or H. We've got the number of calories. We've got the amount of protein. Does it tell me anything? It doesn't tell me what the units of that is, which is not good. We've got the amount of fat, the amount of sodium, so salt content. We've got the amount of fiber, got the amount of complex carbohydrate, we've got the amount of sugar, and the amount of potassium. First thing, looking at the set of data, do we notice? Well, let's go back. So the first thing that people used to get wrong with this set of data is manufacturer saying N, Q, K, whatever. They're going, what are those? Well, they're manufacturers. So what you want to do first is put on your value labels, because then you figure out what those K's and Q's and C's and H's mean. So it means cold cereal or hot cereal. So you don't usually eat cream of wheat, so quick porridge kind of things. Cold, it would be quite disgusting, apart from not work. Mapo, never heard of that. And now I can see the companies that make them. So at this particular time, it was Nabisco, Quaker Oats, Kellogg's, Ralston, Purina. I thought they made cat food. General Mills. Is there anyone else in there? Those are the Post. Those were the cereal manufacturing companies. Then you've got cold and hot. Then you've got their calories. Now, just quick scanning down the calories column. Is there any weird data in calories? No, they all seem reasonable sort of numbers, 70s and 80s, whatever. I go down the protein. Yeah, well, Weetabix is very much a UK thing. I've forgotten the company that makes them. Probably Weetabix. Is there any number in the protein that looks a bit weird? So loads of protein in. Oh, yeah. Some of these should be changed to Nestle now, because Nestle took over General Mills. But at the time, it was General Mills. If you look at, I'll try and find the diagram wherever it is. If you look at the food that you consume, most of it is made by 6 giant corporates. So one of them is Danone, one of them is Nestle, one of them is Kraft, so that's 3 of the 6. Trying to think who the other ones are. if you also know a lot more about food, you would know that. So Kellogg's, I don't think they're outside cereals a big producer. So if you know anything about cereals, as in the grains, wheat and oats and barley, that goes into producing all your breads and flours and most of your other carbohydrate needs, you would know that the companies that store the grain and move the grain around, that control the grain elevators of the world, there's about 4 companies. So our entire food security depends on very few companies. Yes, they're big conglomerates. So there's 6 that produce most of the commercial food that you go and see in the supermarkets, even though they're very good at hiding things with by pretending they're different brands. So an interesting one was when Cadbury got taken over by Kraft, and then they separated off some of their brands, like Terry's Chocolate Orange, to and separate French company, and all of the sweet part got separated off into a new company which is called Mondelez, which is massive, and is the confectionery side of Kraft. So Kraft, so it was Jacob's, Kraft, Suchard, just all of it. It's all the same company. So if you get a Suchard chocolates, a Toblerone, if you get a Cadbury bar, all of them are Kraft. Yeah, Pepsi and Coca-Cola are the other 2. So if you go and get Walker's Crisps, you're getting something from Pepsi Cola. If they own Lay's, everything's the same companies. So when I was younger, there were lots of companies. Now there are practically none. So Roundtree still existed, and that got taken over by Nestle. It's just anyway. Everything you eat comes from very few places. If I look at protein, I can't see anything funny in that one. If I look at fat, I've got some with 0. Do you think that's a reasonable number for a fat content? Well, yes, I do, because I think that people are going for 0 fat options. Apple Jacks, no fat, must have a mass of sugar. Bran flakes, so anything that's very bran and unadulterated grain probably has a low fat content. So there's quite a lot of 0s. That's all fine. 0s, 1s, and 2s. No funny numbers as far as I can figure out. Go to sodium content. Again, do I think 0 sodium is fine? Yes, I do, because I think that's salt-free. Apart from, I'm really not sure that frosted mini wheats are totally sugar-free. It's sugar-free, salt-free. Puffed rice will be. Puffed wheat will be. And oatmeal probably will be. But I'm just surprised that frosted mini wheats are completely salt-free. I'd have thought they had some kind of trace, like this 15. But it could be the Tic Tac problem. Everyone know the Tic Tac problem? So the content of a Tic Tac, they're recorded as sugar-free. Now, the reason they're recorded as sugar-free is because according to the Food and Drug Administration in the US, if you have less than 1 gram of sugar within your particular thing, within a serving of your particular food, you can classify it as sugar-free. A Tic Tac weighs less than 1 gram, so despite being something like 95% sugar, it is recorded as sugar-free. That's how you can cheat when people devise rules based on statistics and data which don't make any sense. Now I look at the fiber column, there's definitely a possibility to have something with no fiber. I mean, rice on its own has no fiber. I suppose it's polished rice. So it's got all the skin taken off. So yes, it doesn't have any fiber left after you've done that to it. Are there any weird numbers in it? Not that I can see. So ones look fine. Complex carbohydrates. So if I go down these. Now, when I got to complex carbohydrates, here in Raisin Bran, Quaker Oatmeal, I've got a -1. I've also got a -1 in sugars. Do you think that if you eat Quaker Oatmeal, it mysteriously pulls complex carbohydrates from you? No, I don't think so either. That'd be interesting. That'd definitely be a very effective diet breakfast. You eat something and it consumes your carbohydrates. So that's a missing value. But if I go to variable view, have I got a missing value defined in that particular thing? I haven't. So I need to define my missing value. Okay. Now I've seen it's also in sugars, so we'll have to define it in there too. So I'll do that one as -1. And let's go back. So we've seen it in those two. So it just means when they were doing that particular calculation, when they took their Quaker Oatmeal to the lab, something went wrong with the machine or the analyzer or whatever they were doing, and they missed the values for it. So they got all the rest of them, but that experiment went wrong. Now you have to accept that that happens in real life. Ideally, they'd have gone out and got another sample, done it again, and found out the right answer. But they haven't. Probably you've got limited resources, limited experimental time. Now you see that this also happens with the cream of wheat in Nabisco. They didn't record the potassium level. In fact, that happens for several different ones. So this suggests that you have a bit more of a problem with the potassium assay. The way you measure potassium is a bit harder than everything else. So you make mistakes on it more often. And there's nothing worse than collecting a big, complicated data set where you've measured loads and loads of things. You run all the experiments, they've all come out, everything's good, and then you miss one thing off. So, or you forget to run that experiment, or it goes wrong halfway through, or something else happens. So missing data is quite common, especially in big data sets like this. Now I need to save this as a new version because I need to have the bad version ready for teaching Thursday as well. So Thursday and Friday. Right, so we sorted out the missing values.